We're known as a nation of animal lovers, but the image hides the fact that calls to the Scottish SPCA are rising rapidly. Each year, the charity saves thousands of domestic pets, horses and farm animals, and wildlife. And throughout this series of Animal 999, they're giving us access all areas to find out how they do it. Coming up, Chico the Jack Russell is on the run in Clyde Bank.
But obviously as a right streetwise wee one.
And what's lurking under this cardboard box in Hamilton?
I've been walking around about there for about 3 years.
Now, here's a cocky-looking chappie on the loose in Clyde Bank. Cheeky Chico, a Jack Russell Terrier, is often seen running around the streets, marking his territory and on the lookout for some action with a cute lady friend. But today, Chico might have bitten off more than he can chew.
Come on then. I'm coming.
Scottish SPCA Senior Inspector Nicky Scotts spotted him. And now Chico's roaming days could be numbered.
Coming.
Normally, the charity only deals with stray dogs that are sick or injured.
Hey, wee man.
But Nicky's worried Chico's in danger of being run over.
Is that in the garden? Did it come up here? Streetwise dog, eh? It's a wee entire male, so he's obviously running about sniffing for a bitch in heat. There must be one round about here because he's hanging about so much. And the neighbours say he doesn't come from here, so that's you're getting your unwanted breeding, you're getting dogs that could get squashed in the road.
We don't want that to happen to Chico. If you see a healthy stray dog, then you should call your local dog warden. But Nicky's still worried about the Jack Russell's safety, so she'll spend a bit more time trying to grab him, and if she can't, then she'll have to call for help.
But obviously as a right streetwise wee one, we'll give the dog warden a phone.
We'll be back to find out how Nicky gets on. This is a cautionary tale about a cat called Luca and his owner, Michelle. Luca is a pedigree Bengal, and to understand what happens next, we have to go back to the start of the story in Livingston. Animal Rescue Officer Connie O'Neill has been called out to what sounds like a very odd job.
You got a cat for me?
Yes.
What happened with it?
Wait, I'm through visiting my mum and I was out feeding mum and dad's cat, and this wee kitten, my dad said it was a wee kitten, and its belly is bigger than it is. Its hair is all falling out, its skin and bone. It's disgusting. And they collar on it.
She is really swollen. It's not kittens though, it's like it's fluid or something. The vet might need to have a look at this to see what that could be. It's huge. I've never seen a big swollen tummy on a young cat before like that. And not very comfortable, are you?
There are also some shaved areas on the kitten's body.
She's a young cat, a few months old, but she's probably just old enough to be out, but why has she been shaved?
I saw the belly first and I'm like, oh my goodness. And then I saw the bald patches, and you look at her legs and her tail, there is no meat on that cat. She is skin and bone. And I was like, no, I need a phone. I can't let her go. And then she was trying to get away, so we tried to put her in a plastic box and she escaped out of that, and so we just let her roam about the living room.
Connie will take the kitten to a vet. It might be microchipped, and then Connie can hopefully get to the bottom of what's happened. A large cardboard box in a back garden in Hamilton. Animal Rescue Officer Joanna Boyle's task is to figure out what to do with whatever's under it. Homeowner Ella is about to shed some light on it.
I've been walking around about there for about 3 years.
Okay.
Round about the fence.
Just
I
this
put
morning.
a box over
That's
it.
great, that's perfect.
It was just like a wing. I thought it was blind, but I don't think it can fly.
He's obviously an adult and something's had a hold of him there, a cat or a fox.
To lift it in case it get frightened.
So that's what, he's got quite a bad wound there that's obviously causing the problem. He isn't able to fly because of that. Another wing
See, I was frightened in case it was...
He wouldn't give you a nasty peck. It doesn't look great, to be honest with you, Ella. It looks as though the bone's damaged there as well, so sadly it's not...
injection.
Well, that's it. You don't want him sitting here in any pain.
No, I'm not
or anyone
a cat.
else. Yeah.
Even my dog was... I wouldn't have touched it, but it was frightening it.
I've had a chance to examine the gull and it looks as though it is a really bad wound, and it's also injured the bone there. You can feel a break in it, so sadly this kind of wound we would need to euthanize the seagull. It prevents any further suffering. It obviously is going to be in an awful lot of pain at the moment, and sadly the way you and I would go in and have a plate fitted or a pin or anything to fix any bones, we aren't able to do that with a wild animal because we can't bring them back in to be checked over and assessed again once they're out in the wild. That's them out and about. He's obviously pretty sore.
Connie O'Neill's taking a poorly cat to see the vet. Luca has a swollen belly and some shaved patches on his body.
Okay, let's see what's going on with this one.
Vet Harry Howarth should be able to shed some light on it.
Probably around about 3.5, 4 months of age, possibly. Now, the main worry with this wee kitten, despite the large tummy, is the fact that we've got a very prominent spine there. We can make out all the spinal processes, and when we run our hands across the ribs, they're really sticking out there. So despite the tummy, this wee kitten is almost emaciated. Now, let's have a wee feel of this abdomen. So we've got an abdomen there, which when we just tap it gently, we can see how the waves of fluid just bouncing off the other wall, and that's a good indication there that we've got a large build-up of fluid in this wee cat's abdomen, which is always a concern when we get a kitten this age with a build-up of fluid in the abdomen. It's always a sign, or nearly always a sign, that we've got some very serious life-threatening problems. The main concern is that this wee kitten could well have a thing called feline infectious peritonitis, FIP, and that's a viral infection that causes damage to the blood vessels and will get fluid leaking out. And unfortunately, there is no therapy that's going to get them better. So, although at this stage it's by no means certain that's what's going on, it would be at the top of the list of things that are most likely.
Yeah. It doesn't sound good at all.
The shave marks turn out to be from some previous work done by another vet. Harry checks for a microchip. If it has one, the owner should be easily traced.
Of course, there we go.
It's unusual for a cat this young to have a chip, but it shows he's probably been very well looked after. Connie will take the cat back to the owner to hear her side of the story. Senior Inspector Nicky Scott's not having much luck catching Chico, the cheeky Jack Russell Terrier on the loose in Clyde Bank. But she's had a lucky break.
I just spoke to a couple of people that are out walking the dog. They think they know who the owner is, so they've given me an address, so I'll nip round and see if it is, and see if there's somebody there, or put a card through, at least, and speak to them.
By the time Nicky finds her way to the address she's been given, the runaway has been tracked down by his owner, and he's on his way back home.
House trained?
He is house trained, yes.
What does he eat?
He eats bakers, meaty meals.
So complete?
Yeah.
And what's he like in the car? You've had him in the car?
He's been in a taxi car, he's fine.
To travel okay? And can you leave him on his own?
Yes.
But it seems the family who own Chico can't cope with him anymore, and they want to sign him over to the Scottish SPCA.
If you can just sign in, look where the two crosses are.
It's just for to go to a home that somebody can look after him properly. I do look after him, but not to the extent that he needs. He is quite a fit, healthy wee dog, and he needs to be have more fun and really big long walks and stuff. So
This is a good advert for neutering.
Yeah.
Because if you'd got him
Definitely.
neutered,
Somebody said that to me, and I think that's a good idea to do that, and it would stop him running away.
well, it would certainly stop him. It doesn't always stop them running away, but it would certainly stop him going on a bitching heat hunt.
Yeah, definitely.
Bit of a messy van, but come on, Chico, up. You got a wee hand. Will he bite?
No, he won't bite. I'll put him in.
You looked as though you were going to there, you wee toe rag.
Yeah, you go in. Sit nice. Good boy. Just having a wee sniff about.
You're a wee grumpus, aren't you? I'll put this one on you.
Yeah, Dylan, say bye-bye to Chico, honey.
There you go, you can keep his collar.
Chico will be taken to the Society's Animal Rescue Centre near Dumbarton, and he'll be put up for rehoming. After he's had the snip to stop his wandering ways.
He was so cocky out in the street and now he's terrified. I feel awful.
Still to come, Connie discovers the shocking truth about Luca's illness.
He could have FIP and that's fatal, and I thought, oh, don't tell me that.
And Chico has the op that will help him find a new home. Animal Rescue Officer Connie O'Neill's arrived in Livingston with pedigree Bengal cat Luca.
Hi. Is this your wee cat?
She's hoping to find out what's wrong with it. Sadly, owner Michelle confirms Luca is undergoing tests for the usually fatal condition feline infectious peritonitis, or FIP.
When we spoke to the vet on Friday, it was kind of doom and gloom with the size of him. Even if we can give him treatment, we don't know what. I was sort of thinking the worst, to be honest. But I don't know, as I say, until the results come back.
I hope it's something that can be fixed and it's not peritonitis or something serious that's going to bring total heartache to you, you know, because it's not really fixable.
Kind of dropped that on me the day that I was talking about him being ill, and I'd kind of said, look, there's different things, and she was like, well, he could have FIP and that's fatal, and I thought, oh, don't tell me that.
It is really, really thin. Yeah,
I know.
but obviously you've done everything that can be done to make sure he gets better, so I'm happy with that.
He's still got the same temperament, he hasn't changed that way, still social, still happy, so fingers crossed it's just a straightforward fix and then that's it, you know, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
Michelle doesn't seem confident. We'll be back soon to find out the result of Luca's tests for FIP. It's time for little Jack Russell Chico to have his operation.
We neuter all of the cats and dogs that come into us before we home them wherever possible, largely to obviously prevent unwanted litters, so that we're not getting even more unwanted cats and dogs into the homes than we already unfortunately get. Removing his testicles means that he can't get testicular tumours. It can prevent certain unwanted behaviours in male dogs, so it can limit things like aggression or sort of dominant behaviours. And obviously in bitches, when we spay them, that has the advantages of preventing conditions like pyometra, which is where they get pus in their womb, and that can be life-threatening. So we do recommend neutering all the animals, and like I say, we do all the ones that come into us before we home them. So we've taken both testicles out, and we're just checking that he's not got any bleeding. We've tied off all the blood vessels, so we would hope that everything's fine, and it looks nice and clean, so we're about to stitch him up.
Poor wee Chico. He probably feels he's been stitched up already, but it's for his own good. Chico will be left on oxygen until he comes round, and then he'll go back to his kennel to finish off his recovery. Then, with any luck, Chico will soon be ready to go to a new home. Inspector Andrea Middleton's beat is Dumfries and Galloway in the southwest of Scotland. It's a mix of villages, larger towns like Dumfries and Stranraer, and countryside. Today, She's been called to the former mining village of Kellaholm, where there's been a complaint about a pair of German Shepherd dogs.
One allegedly jumped out the bedroom window this morning and was left roaming about the streets. Had a look about, can't see it. The other one's meant to be very underweight, possibly alleged to be left in for long periods of time, not attended to, toileting in the house, etc, etc. So just going to go and have a wee look and see what's happening.
If the allegation is true, the owner of the dogs will have some explaining to do, and they could be served with an animal welfare notice for neglect.
Did one of the dogs get out this morning? Out a bedroom?
Window, yeah.
Ah, right, okay, right. We just had a call basically saying that one of them was really thin and they were left in kind of for long hours of the day.
She's a bit skinny, but she's been to the vets for it and we've tried different foods, but she's not going to get any bigger.
To be honest, I wouldn't even say she's skinny. I mean, she's a lovely German Shepherd. I mean, German Shepherds have problems with their back legs anyway, so generally half the time you would advise that she's on the lighter side. I wouldn't say there's a problem. Can I have a look at the other one as well, Stephen?
Go on.
Hello. Oh my gosh, she's definitely not skinny. Hello, darling. Hello. She needs a bit of a brush, obviously. She's obviously casting. So I think you could definitely be doing with giving her a bit of a brush out. It's all right just to have a wee peek into the bedroom just to check they've got everything they need in there.
There's 2 food bowls and a water bowl.
Yeah, just make sure you keep that water bowl topped up. Obviously, 2 big dogs, you know, and especially with the hot weather as well. But OK, that's fine. They've got a big old bed that they can use in there.
Although Andrea is satisfied with what she's seen, owner Stephen can't understand why there's such a fuss about one of his dogs jumping out of a window.
It's about the 3rd time she's done it now. But she just goes into the girl and doesn't do anything, so it's not so bad. It's not like she just runs away. Wouldn't be so good.
OK, cheers again then. I'll speak to you soon, all right? Both dogs are in good condition. One's actually slightly on the heavy side. It could do with losing a bit of weight, to be honest. It says that they're exercised fairly regularly. You can see that, you know, they're sitting at the front door waiting to get out. The neighbours are confirming that. I didn't find any evidence of them toileting in the house either. Bit of a build-up of hair, you know, it's German Shepherds, they're molting, coming out of winter. Yeah, jumped out the window, but unfortunately the latch was left off. So he's been advised on that as well. So no, overall, yeah, pretty good level of care, yeah.
It's been a few weeks since Luca's test results came back, and they weren't good. They confirmed their little pedigree Bengal did have feline infectious peritonitis. And sadly, owner Michelle had to have Luca put to sleep.
We were devastated. We were expecting to go and fight this illness that he had, and instead that was going to be we were going to have to say goodbye, basically. We made the decision because it's the choice between keeping the cat alive for us or keeping him alive for himself. Had he been in the same state that he was in when we left the house that morning, we'd have continued on as we were going to and fought with it. We don't know what caused the deterioration. It could just be that it finally did get him, or it could be that the travel upset him. We don't know. All we know is that we had to let him go when we didn't really want to, you know, but it was the right thing to do for him.
Michelle has other cats, so they had to be tested to make sure they hadn't contracted the disease. Luckily, they were clear, so they're perfectly healthy. But this is a cautionary tale. Pedigree cats like Bengals are prone to health problems because of the reduced gene pool breeders have to choose from. So if you really want a pedigree, then make sure you do your homework and find a reputable breeder. Despite her experience with Luca, Michelle has bought another Bengal.
It isn't easy because you're constantly looking for signs, and he gets maybe a bit of a sniffly nose, or you maybe hear him breathing quite heavily, see that he's got a little bit of a round belly after he's had something to eat, anything like that, and it's automatic for me to think, am I going to end up with another cat that's got FIP? Am I going to have to deal with this illness again?
Fortunately for Michelle, her new Bengal, called Sawyer, isn't showing any signs of FIP. So it looks like everything will be fine for the future. Chico, our Jack Russell Terrier from Clyde Bank, was signed over to the Scottish SPCA when the family who owned him realised they couldn't cope.
Come on, Chico, up.
He was neutered to prepare him for rehoming, and just a few days after the operation, he found a new owner. He's now happily installed in the East End of Glasgow with lifetime dog lover Annie.
Chico, come on, that's it. I've always had a kind of small to medium dog, you know, and I didn't want a big dog. So when I saw wee Chico, I fell in love with him right away, you know, and I said, that's the wee dog that I want. He walks quite a thing. They say when a dog keeps lifting its leg, it's leaving its scent. Well, with Chico, it's like doing a dance. He'll do a pee, and then when he wants to do the other one, it's turning around this way, then turning around that way, then turn. I says to Chico, I says, that's a new wee dance you've learned me. He does that every time.
It's a happy ending to Chico's story.
He's an awfully good wee dog. Oh, I love him to bits. I couldn't be without him. No, I couldn't lose him. I really couldn't, no.
And Annie has a loyal companion to keep her company.